The Mask of Devotion. A love built on lies and blood. The rain hammered against the windows of my loft, a relentless drumming that mirrored the unease twisting in my gut. My name is Ethan, 32 years old, a software engineer with a quiet life, or so I thought. For the past 6 years, I'd shared that life with my fiancée, Lily. We'd met at a tech conference, her sharp wit and radiant smile cutting through the monotony of endless presentations. She was a freelance photographer, a free spirit with a lens always in hand, capturing the world in ways I could never see. I'd fallen hard, and she'd seemed to fall just as deeply. We were engaged within 2 years, planning a small wedding for the spring. I trusted her implicitly, believed in her with every fiber of my being. That trust was my undoing. It was a Friday night, the kind of stormy evening that begged for takeout in a movie. I'd been crunching code late at the office, but the project hit a snag, and my team lead sent us home early. I decided to surprise Lily with her favorite Thai food, green curry and mango sticky rice. She'd been distant lately, blaming it on a big photography gig that kept her out late. I didn't question it. I never did. Maybe that was my first mistake. The loft was in an old industrial building, all exposed brick and high ceilings, a space we'd made ours with thrifted furniture and her framed photos on the walls. As I climbed the stairs, my sneakers squeaked against the wet concrete, and the paper bag of food grew damp in my arms. The hallway was dim, the flickering bulb casting long shadows. I reached our door, number 307, and noticed it was cracked open. My pulse quickened. Lily was paranoid about security, always double-checking the locks. She'd never leave it like this. "Lily," I called, nudging the door wider with my shoulder. No answer. The air inside was thick, humid from the storm. But there was something else, a metallic tang I couldn't place. I set the food on the kitchen island and flicked on the lights. The living room was empty, the couch cushions undisturbed. Her camera bag sat by the door, unzipped, lenses spilling out. Odd. She treated that gear like it was her lifeline. A low murmur drifted from the bedroom, muffled by the rain. My stomach churned. I told myself it was nothing. She was probably on a call, arranging shoots, lost in her work. But my feet moved anyway, drawn down the narrow hall like a moth to a flame. The bedroom door was ajar, a sliver of light spilling onto the hardwood. I heard her voice, low and urgent, then another, a man's, gravelly and unfamiliar. I froze, my hand hovering over the doorknob. "You're sure he's gone all night?" the man said, his tone clipped. "Relax," Lily replied, a sharpness in her voice I didn't recognize. "Ethan's a workaholic. He won't be back till morning. We've got time." Time for what? My throat tightened, but I couldn't stop myself. I pushed the door open an inch more, peering through the gap. Lily stood by the bed, her back to me, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. She wore the black silk robe I'd bought her last Christmas, the one she said made her feel like a movie star. Across from her was a man, tall, broad-shouldered, his face obscured by a baseball cap. He was peeling off a pair of gloves, tossing them onto the nightstand. They were stained dark, slick with something that glistened in the lamplight. Blood. My knees buckled, but I caught myself against the wall. The metallic smell hit me harder now, sharp and nauseating. On the floor, half hidden by the bed, was a tarp. Blue plastic, crumpled and streaked with red. A shape lay beneath it, unmoving. My mind screamed at me to run, to call the police, but my body wouldn't obey. I was rooted there, watching the woman I loved pace the room like a caged animal. "It's done," the man said, stepping closer to her. "Clean break. No one saw me." Lily nodded, her shoulders tense. "Good. He was getting too nosy, asking questions about the money, the trips. I couldn't risk him figuring it out." "Him? Me?" My chest seized, but then the man laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You're a piece of work, Lil, stringing Ethan along while we cleaned up the mess. He's got no clue, does he?" She turned and I caught her profile, her lips curled into a smirk I'd never seen before. "Ethan? He's a puppy. Loyal to a fault. He thinks I'm some tortured artist, not a—" She stopped, glancing at the tarp. "Well, you know, The man chuckled, pulling her into his arms. A killer. Say it. You've earned it. My vision blurred, tears stinging my eyes. A killer? This wasn't real. It couldn't be. But the evidence was there, sprawled across our bedroom floor. A body, a secret, a betrayal so vast it swallowed me whole. I stumbled back, my elbow knocking against the wall. The sound was soft, but it was enough. Lily's head snapped toward the door. What was that? I didn't wait to find out if she'd seen me. I bolted, my heart slamming against my ribs as I grabbed my keys from the counter and tore out of the loft. The rain hit me like a slap, soaking me instantly, but I didn't care. I ran until my lungs burned, ducking into an alley 3 blocks away. My phone buzzed in my pocket, Lily's name on the screen. I silenced it, hands trembling, and sank against the brick wall. What the hell had I just seen? Who was she? The Lily I knew took pictures of sunsets and cried at sad movies. She wasn't this, but the truth clawed at me. She'd been lying, manipulating me, maybe from the start. And that body, who was it? A colleague? A friend? Someone who'd gotten too close to whatever she was hiding? I couldn't go home, not yet. I texted my sister Claire, the only person I could trust. Need a place to crash, emergency, don't call. She replied instantly, no questions asked, just an address, her new apartment downtown. I took a cab, the driver eyeing my drenched clothes but saying nothing. Claire met me at the door, her face paling when she saw me. Ethan, what happened? She whispered, pulling me inside. I collapsed onto her couch, the words spilling out in fragments. Lily, the man, the blood, the tarp. Claire listened, her eyes widening, then narrowing with fury. We're calling the cops, she said, reaching for her phone. No, I croaked. Not yet. I don't know what's happening. I need to think. She hesitated, then nodded. Okay, but you're not going back there alone. I didn't sleep that night. Images flashed behind my eyes. Lily's smirk, the stained gloves, the shape under the tarp. By morning, I'd made a decision. I had to know more. I couldn't confront her blind. I needed evidence, something concrete to unravel the nightmare I'd stumbled into. Claire lent me her car, and I drove to a hardware store, buying a cheap burner phone and a voice recorder. I parked a block from the loft, watching the building through the rain-streaked windshield. Lily's car was gone. I waited an hour, then slipped inside using my key. The loft was silent, the air heavy with bleach. The bedroom was spotless, no tarp, no blood, no sign of the man. They'd cleaned it up, erased it like it never happened. But I wasn't imagining it. I couldn't be. I searched her desk, her laptop, anything for a clue. Passwords I'd guessed over the years got me into her email. Most of it was mundane. Client invoices, shoot schedules. But then I found a thread buried in a folder labeled Old Stuff. The sender's name was blank, just a string of numbers, but the messages were damning. Targets asking questions. Meet me tonight. Usual spot. Payment cleared. Next job's bigger. You in? Ethan's clueless. Keeps buying the late-night excuse. We're clear. My stomach lurched. The dates stretched back 2 years. 2 years of lies, of her using me as a cover while she, what? Ran hits? Laundered money? The next job was dated 3 days ago. Whatever happened last night, it wasn't the first time. I copied the emails onto a USB drive, my hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. Then I heard the front door creak. I shoved the drive into my pocket and ducked behind the couch just as Lily stepped inside, phone pressed to her ear. Yeah, he's gone, she said, her voice tight. No idea where. He must have seen something, but he's too spineless to do anything about it. Spineless. The word cut deeper than the betrayal itself. I held my breath as she moved to the kitchen, her heels clicking against the floor. She was alone. No sign of the man. I could have run, but anger flared hot in my chest. I stood, stepping into her line of sight. She froze, the phone slipping from her hand. Ethan, who are you? I demanded, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. What the hell was last night? Her face cycled through emotions, shock, fear, then a cold mask I didn't recognize. You weren't supposed to be here. she said, stepping closer. Why didn't you stay at work? Answer me, I shouted. Who was he? Who was under that tarp? She flinched, then laughed, a brittle, hollow sound. You really want to know? Fine. His name was Mark. A loose end. He knew too much, and he had to go. Happy now? I staggered back, the room spinning. You killed him. You're a murderer? Not just me, she snapped. It's a business, Ethan. One you've been funding. By the way, all those late nights I was working, you paid the bills while I built something real. The air left my lungs. My salary, our joint account. She'd been siphoning it, using me as a front. Why? I whispered. Why me? Because you're predictable, she said, her eyes glinting with something feral. You loved me so much you'd never suspect. It was perfect. Until you walked in last night. She lunged faster than I expected, a knife flashing in her hand, pulled from her purse, small but lethal. I dodged, the blade grazing my arm, and stumbled into the kitchen. She came at me again, her face twisted with rage. You should have stayed gone. I grabbed a skillet from the counter and swung, catching her wrist. The knife clattered to the floor and I tackled her, pinning her arms. She thrashed, screaming curses, but I held on until her strength gave out. Blood trickled from my arm, pooling on the tile. I tied her wrists with a dish towel, my hands shaking, and called Claire. Get the cops here, now! The police arrived in minutes, storming the loft. They found the knife, the emails on the USB, traces of blood in the bedroom grout. Enough to arrest her on the spot. Lily didn't fight, just stared at me with those cold, empty eyes as they cuffed her. I gave my statement, numb, watching the life I'd known crumble. The investigation unraveled everything. Lily and her partner, identified as Victor Russo, a known fixer, had been running a contract-killing operation, targeting whistleblowers and rivals for a shadowy client. Mark, the man under the tarp, had been their accountant, skimming profits until they caught him. My bank records showed thousands drained into offshore accounts, masked as photography expenses. She'd played me for years, and I'd been too blinded by love to see it. The trial was a circus, her face plastered across headlines. Photographer's deadly double life. She got life without parole. Victor turned state's evidence for a reduced sentence. I testified, my voice breaking as I recounted that night, the betrayal cutting deeper than the knife ever could. The jury didn't deliberate long. Afterward, I sold the loft, moved to a new city, started over. Therapy helped, but the scars lingered. Trust shattered, self-worth in tatters. I met someone new eventually, a quiet librarian named Anna, but I kept her at arm's length, terrified of history repeating. The emails from Lily's burner phone haunted me, a reminder of how close I'd come to being another loose end. One night, years later, I got a letter. No return address, just her handwriting. I never meant for you to get hurt, it read. You were the best part of the lie. I burned it, the ashes scattering in the wind. Closure, maybe, but not forgiveness. To anyone reading this, here's what I've learned. Love can blind you, but it shouldn't bury you. If something feels off, dig deeper. Don't wait for the knife to find you. I was lucky to walk away. Not everyone does. If this story hit you hard or you've faced your own betrayal, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your take. Hit like and subscribe for more raw, unfiltered tales about the dark side of trust and love. Your support keeps this community alive, and together, we can unpack the messes life throws at us. Thanks for reading.